Do you guys believe in that? I know I do.
I do.
Astrology. She said, I mean, I guess.
I don't know. I don't. But I've just never been into it. I don't know anything about. If someone asks me, I'm a Cancer. That's all I have to say.
Don't you have a tattoo on you?
I do. And let me. Don't come for me. I only have a tattoo.
Welcome back to Get Cozy with Josie, and I'm here for a very special episode. This is our season 1 reunion, so I've brought back some of my amazing guests from the first season that I'm so happy came and supported me for the first season of Get Cozy with Josie. And without ado, I would happily love to introduce, we have Bree Bambi, our beautiful esthetician. We have Abigail Pierre-Louis, which is a digital marketing nomad and entrepreneur. We have Cassandra Crespo, my business partner and model. And then we have Stephalie Canto, also known as Odyssey, who is an amazing sound healer and astrocartographer. So I think I did a good job, right?
That was good.
Yeah. How is everyone?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm so happy you guys are here.
Yeah, thanks for having us back.
Thank you for having us. No, of course. I'm so happy. Since we filmed, I know that I filmed with all of you guys maybe about like 2-3 months ago. Has anything changed in your lives and your businesses? Have you rewatched the podcast and like thought back about what you guys said?
I have.
Yeah.
I watched it and I was proud of myself.
You should be. You had a beautiful interview.
In the midst of the, podcast, I was more like in my head, and then to actually sit down and hear myself and my answers, I'm like, wow, you're good. You have a good head on your shoulders. So it was nice to kind of like see a different point of view, even though it's me. But
Yeah.
it was nice to rewatch it.
No, I loved our conversation a lot. Because I loved how with all of our conversations, like we all, like obviously we touched on like business and things that are important to our lives, but we also got deeper into different topics. And I loved how everyone's interview was so different from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I watched mine, of course, and girl, I talk too much. I about said like 20,000 times on it, but no. Honestly, what changed? We just from the agency, because we did talk about the agency, just getting more booked.
Yes. It was actually really, I didn't realize how good it would be for our agency. I was just like, I just want Cassandra on here because she's my business partner. She's like one of my super close friends. But it ended up, I think it gave people a lot more insight into our business.
Right.
And our dynamic too.
Yes.
Because there are people who know us like together, and then there are people who only know each of us individually. So I think it was nice for people to see us. Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. For me, I remember ending the interview like, what did we just talk about? It feels like I had no idea. So playing it back was really cool. I noticed the value that we did offer, and like I really love our dynamic. I've been a part of a couple of interviews, like podcast vibes, and like ours was so like seamless, and like it was really nice. And recently in Miami, people have been recognizing me because of our podcast. So it's been an interesting journey
I love
to
that.
be seen like as an interviewee of a podcast versus like a sound healer or astrologer.
That's amazing.
You have one of my most listened to on Spotify podcasts. Yeah. And yours is so interesting because I think what we talk about is so taboo for a lot of people. So I've had people that are very anti-astrology, very anti-sound healing take interest after watching that. So I think it was cool. I think
That's
it was
the
needed.
goal.
Yeah.
To open
Yeah.
minds.
Really good. That's cool.
Awesome.
And then your interview has some of the most like viral clips next to Queens. Yeah.
Yeah, because again, kind of like what you guys were saying, I don't remember what I said. But a lot of people did get back to me and were like, that was amazing. It was so cool to hear you talk about those things. I was like, yeah. And it did have a lot of like likes, shares, but also I think that when we talk, especially with the vibe that you create on your podcast, it's just like a chill vibe. We talk about what's on our mind.
Yeah.
It always ends up some deep conversation that someone either understands and resonates with, or someone's like, what the heck are they talking about? But either way, it is something that's eye-opening and relaxed and just natural in how it's expressed.
But I feel like that's our normal conversations regularly, and that's why I'm happy I was able to recreate that with you guys, because I wanted to make people realize these are the conversations that we're having.
Yes, no, definitely.
Yeah, this is how we talk. We're not just all sitting here talking about what is the latest celebrity gossip or who is the hottest guy or what is the biggest gossip in our micro communities, because that's actually not what is fueling us regularly. And I've noticed that in the podcast space, that is actually what is spoken about. It's all really gossip or a super red pill, and it just doesn't resonate what I believe or speak about, or what other people around me resonate with or speak about.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah, so I love that you guys are here. I'm so happy that you guys are here. You guys have supported me throughout my podcast journey.
Aww.
I know. I don't understand why we have a guest. This is an
Unwanted
uninvited
guest.
But not to get too off topic, I surveyed social media, and I asked what is it that you want to know generally or individually about each guest, and I guess from there we can just spin it off, be like we always do. But one thing that a lot of people want to know is the balance, right? Because we are all trailblazers in our own communities, in our own careers, and in our own rights, and we're all hyper independent, and we all somewhat have a social life and take time for ourselves. So it's how are you guys managing all of that?
Go ahead, girl.
I was gonna say go to sleep when you need to sleep. That's
Yeah.
the number one thing that used to be challenging, but now I'm not playing. If I have to nap, so be it. We'll get to that.
Sometimes I feel guilty for resting, but I've learned that, in order to get forward or be successful, you actually have to have that moment of rest. And I think so many entrepreneurs push the idea of being constantly busy every single minute of the day. And I remember just having a shift in my life where now I'm responsible for my own studio and I'm 100%, in this, no partner or anything. I just felt like every minute of my day, I needed to be busy because I had this responsibility, and I didn't understand stopping, pausing for a minute. I'm like, is this reality? I don't think that there's an entrepreneur out there that doesn't take at least a minimum of 4 hours. I would say 4 hours or 6 to sleep, get rest and just make sure that you're healthy, because without that, your body will burn and crash, which happened to me back in December. I put in 18, 19-hour days, and then my body literally gave out, and I did not wake up one day for work. But I just say that to say that I think it's important to find that balance, and it's not easy to find it. And then what we consume so much as entrepreneurs, you see other entrepreneurs, push a narrative that you're busy every minute and hour of the day, and that there's just not even 1 hour to meditate, pray, shower, relax, just take in what you're working hard for. And I think it's easy to kind of not live in the moment when you do that, because I'm like, okay, I worked really hard for this, I prayed really hard for it, and I want to be able to enjoy it. I want to be able to see that when I wake up on Monday and I I implement one thing into my business, I want to see that play out. I'm not going to be able to see that if I'm on the go constantly, so finding the balance is difficult. I'm not sure that I've 100% found it yet, but I'm training myself not to feel guilty when I have those days that my body needs to rest.
Yeah, I feel like I'm still learning how to balance things. I also do feel guilty when I don't do anything. I just feel useless if I'm not doing anything the full day. But recently, I took not a step back, but I calmed down a bit, and I feel like I've been getting more opportunities, more booked when, I don't know, it was just 2 days back to back where I actually relaxed. I enjoyed my family, I enjoyed all my pets. It's just I didn't do that before because I constantly was booking multiple things in a day. It was insane. I'm still learning, but recently I'm just oh my God, I didn't realize because one day my body did give out, and that was very scary for me. So I'm okay, let me calm down a bit. But yeah, and I'm loving life. Now I love life. I'm oh my God, it's so good. And I feel I did learn that since I took that step back, I feel I've been making more money as well too. But it's crazy because you're so booked before, but I didn't feel like I was doing anything, if that makes
Exactly.
sense. And now that I'm taking a step back where I'm focusing on my family, I'm taking more trips and all that stuff, I just feel like, I don't know, it's
You're
all coming.
attracting more.
Yes. So, yeah.
Yeah. What?
I just feel like you can talk on that, on the
Oh.
attraction of like how
Oh,
you're
like being
resting.
in your feminine?
Yeah.
It's almost like when the more time you take to like slow down, like the more you magnetize what's for you. And I feel like as an entrepreneur, I can relate. Like I used to feel really guilty for relaxing. Like I honestly had no boundaries in business, and I had to like recognize like for me to find balance, I need to pause. I need to have a cutoff time. Like after 6 p.m., I don't care to do much. And like I had to set that boundary to really be able to take time to go within and take time to balance myself. And I don't know about y'all, but like on my period, I don't want to do anything.
I don't
And
either.
I think I've spoke that so much in life that my life has become that like unplanned. Like the week of my period is the time I have the least bookings, is the time that like I feel like I have the least things to do. And like I had to like really speak that and really like create these boundaries to like create this reality where like I could slow down like that on my period in a way that doesn't make me feel like I'm useless or like guilty. But yeah, that's a big part, like femininity, slowing down and like allowing myself to receive, like, and recognizing that I put in the work and like things could come back to me instead of me like chasing or feeling like I have to like create things to do. Because like technically a lot of the things that we want, we have to make space for it, and the only way to make space for it is by pausing and like honoring the body. Oh, femininity.
Abby, that's something actually you're really good at.
Yeah.
I talked about that on our podcast.
Yeah.
I was like, because I play like a very, I guess you could call it something that would be typically seen as a masculine role as a CEO of a company, because it's like you're leading, you have to be in charge, you have to tell people what to do. And like I literally didn't want to take on this role because I was like, I don't want to have to turn myself on and off. And I had a man actually help me, and he's like, you don't need to turn it on and off, just lead in a feminine way. And I took on the role, and I literally just, I'm like, hey, I need to lead in a feminine way. Like, I'm not gonna be super stern and hard on you. I'm literally gonna sit down and talk to you, and we're gonna have a conversation, and I'm gonna see how I can help you. It's like a nurturing, caring way, but then it also translates into a space where you're creating like community and togetherness, which a lot of women need to thrive. And so understanding that is like huge. But in terms of balance, I've found that the best way to build that out, like especially as an entrepreneur, I think the best businesses have really strong systems and processes in place. And a lot of the times we don't put those systems and processes in place until the later, more mature times in our business, because we're kind of like rolling with the punches as we started up. But when you start building those out, you also can build those out in your life. Like literally, I have a nap time in my calendar every day from 3:30 to 5. It is nap and lunch. And like my team knows, like this is Abby's time block. And it's just a matter of what are you going to make time for. In the morning, I wake up at 4:55 every morning, but like I literally spend the first 3 hours of my day taking care of myself, meditating, drinking some tea, don't touch my phone for an hour, go to the gym. Also habit stacking, so like if I'm talking on the phone, I'm gonna go on a walk at the same time, get some sun, all those things. So it's like there's ways to find balance. You just have to, like you said, be able to slow down so that you can listen to your body. That's always telling you, hey, I need these things. Yeah.
I need to do that more.
I like that.
Yeah, I love that.
Sounds cool.
Especially because that's one thing for me. It's like scary getting up that early in the morning, but I don't think about it in the sense of habit stacking.
Yeah, I mean, I will shamelessly, like, this week, Monday mornings, I have a meeting with my assistant, and I also have meal prep. And so while we're talking, I'm literally chopping up potatoes, and we're talking as two women, habit stacking. And I'm like, I'm not gonna not feed myself
Yeah.
because I have to work. I can't show up for you guys. I can't show up for myself. So, yeah, there's a balance you have to find.
Love that.
No, I actually like I love that so much. That's something I still like am struggling with a lot. I think Cass, I think I texted you like last week about feeling guilty about like not doing anything. In reality,
But
it's
you
like
weren't
I'm
feeling
not,
too good, weren't you?
no, what? And I was on my period.
Yeah.
And it was like I have consciously made an effort to take like that part of my cycle and almost like treat it as not a vacation but time when I'm like not doing much and I'm just like resting. But I'm so used to doing so many things in a day that when I am going like 2 days or I'm only doing one thing, I'm only working my day job, I feel guilty. But then I try to remember and I hold grace for myself because a lot of people every day they just do their day job. And that is a lot for them. And I'm not giving myself grace by doing like 3 to 4 things because it's like I'll do my day job and then I'll model and then we'll be handling stuff for the agency in between the day, which is still like mentally like strenuous, especially right now. Um, um, or I'll like add on to that this podcast, which is like an additional project, which is also like I love it, so it's fun, but it's definitely takes on a lot of effort. So I'm the one for making myself feel guilty when I'm not doing something, even though I know I need to rest. And it's also tough because I feel like they tell us like you need to eat healthy, you need to work out, you need to meditate, you need to spend time with your friends, you need to spend time by yourself. You also need to make sure that you're spending time with your family. And realistically, I'm looking at the time, I'm like, it takes me like 2 hours to work out. Then I have to walk my dog. That's another like 45 minutes. Then I have to shower, get ready. Something is suffering. Like something is like not getting done in that period of time.
Yeah, and with that, I've learned how to like schedule things out. Like for example, my ideal day is starting with journaling, reading,
Yeah.
stretching, working out, breakfast, meditation. But I realized I can't always get all of that into 2 hours. So like, how could I spread it out? So maybe like on Mondays I do the yoga instead of I don't know the meditation and like literally like breaking it up through the days. That's helped me a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like there's only so much time to think.
I've tried the 5. Even when I go to bed at 10, I'm still crashing by like 2 p.m.
I told you I got a nap.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, the nap time.
Yeah.
The nap
The
is
nap is
necessary.
necessary.
20-minute naps go a long way.
They do. I started doing that recently. Like mini naps.
I do those mostly when I'm on my period. And sometimes I notice even like if you just pause for 10 minutes, that goes a long way. Like put everything down and just sit there. You'll be surprised.
No, that's so true. Because today I was at your place earlier today, and for the past like 2-3 days, I've just been complaining about having like a minor headache or just like pressure in my head, and I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. I feel so tired, and I literally just like took a second because you have this spot in your house that's just like a
Cozy
little nook,
corner.
the cozy corner, and I kind of just put everything down and I just like got inside of my mind for like 10-15 minutes or just chilled, and I immediately felt like I had energy again right after. I don't know. I think you're on the phone. You were on the phone.
Okay.
Yeah, you're on the phone.
But anyway.
Yeah. So to your point, yeah, those
Yeah.
10-15 minutes, whatever, I feel like whatever just makes you feel like energized. And also holding space for when it's like there are busier seasons in our lives, busier times. Like right now we're getting into peak season. I know Cass and I are getting into peak season. For some people it's the end of the year, it's the holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also honestly a way that I've justified me slowing down. I'm like, oh, things are just slow right now because it's about to get really busy. And sometimes I just have to tell myself.
I know. Or it's like there was a point in my life where the people in my life were so tired of me because I would just be like, I just have to get through this point of time. Like, I just have to get through swim week, or like, it's gonna be like a very busy like couple of months, and everyone's like, but you're always busy, Josie. Like, you're never not busy. And I feel like to the average person, like our busy, like all busy is the same to them. But then like for me, it's like I'm busy all the time, but there's some periods of time where it's like I'm not even gonna get back to you. Like you cannot, don't call me because I won't call you back. Like it's not gonna happen because I just don't have the capacity for that right now.
I think I always say like just even if there's a moment where I may look like I'm not busy, doesn't mean I'm available.
Okay, I love
Because
that.
the mental capacity it takes to be available for a simple conversation is a lot sometimes. And I think like, having social media has just given people this open access to us where it's just like, yeah, I might have posted a story, but then I went back to doing 50 other things. That doesn't mean call me.
Oh my God.
And I get like side-eyed all the time for being busy or not having the time, and it's just like, you guys I can't even explain to you what's going on in my head because one, being an entrepreneur or in business, your brain is constantly going. I've had people say, well, you're not the only one. Yeah, it's a different type of like, I don't know how to explain, but I know everyone here gets it, So, yeah, I just want to make that point, just because I posted something doesn't mean I'm available. Mentally, I'm 10,000 other places, so.
Well, that's a big one. Like social media, like how do you guys feel about that? Because like I feel like I post and I see social media as like almost like a job of sorts to post and for people to see what I'm doing. So it's like, how do you feel with posting and then having people just assuming that they know every aspect of your life or what's going on because they see your social media, or feeling like they have access to you that they really don't, feeling like,
I have a timer, a
Yeah.
2-hour limit on social media a day.
I need that.
I have the 1 hour.
1 hour.
1 hour.
Mine is 2 hours because I edit so much content on the actual platform.
Okay.
But I think an hour
love
will
that.
be suited.
I love that.
Honestly, I let people think the same.
yeah, same, honestly.
I do, and like it's so interesting because there's people that swear you're friends because they keep up with you online. So I just kind of like smile. But no, and that reminder, like, oh, just because I looked at your story doesn't mean I have to reply to your text message.
So that's the biggest one.
Yeah, that's the
That is
biggest
the
one.
biggest
People are like,
one.
oh, you're looking at my story, but you can't reply. That
People
makes
get
me take
really
longer to reply when they double text me that way.
Oh no, for me it's I'll post a story, but then I don't look at my DMs. So if people feel like ignored, and I'll get to a DM like 3. Like even today, like I was like, oh, like I just saw that message you sent me. She sent me a message on Saturday.
It's okay. It
it's
wasn't
like
important.
Thursday.
Because if it was important, I would have got on you.
Exactly. Because she
Yeah,
has my
if it was
number. And I feel like that's also relevant too. Like
Yeah.
I feel like people take things like social media so personal.
Yeah,
When it's
and-
like, call me.
I don't think people understand that, especially like when you're constantly posting and like you do a call to action, for example, your DMs are flooded. And now they're like sorting things out. There's messages that sometimes takes me weeks to acknowledge, which I'm learning to be more mindful of the requested department or the general. There's so many departments, like I don't get all the messages. So sometimes it sucks when people feel ignored. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like you don't really know what my social media status is like.
This is true. It's like in one breath, I say all of this and how it's like I don't have the capacity to get back to you. But then on the other side, I have seen and I've heard of people stating that like some of the most successful people, the wealthiest people, are easy to reach. Like if you have their contact and you're texting them or you're calling them, you're getting a call or a text right back. Because that's also how deals are made.
I mean, if it's about business,
Yeah.
of course you have the capacity
That's
to.
why I feel like I have to be on my phone like
Yeah.
24/7
You know,
because
but-
I'm scared to miss an opportunity. That's the problem. Though.
But then sometimes you
Yeah.
don't always know what's about business right away because culturally, like at least
Yeah.
like okay, like Abby and I were Haitian. If you before someone even tells you about business, it's hi, how are you?
Yeah, just get to it.
And they're not gonna tell you anything until you respond about how you're doing and ask them how they're doing.
Yeah. But then also, you never know if something's about, I don't know, when you become an entrepreneur, like I know we're talking about balance.
Yeah.
This is like very against what we're saying, but I just listened to a podcast with Emma Gray.
Oh, I
And
love her.
She was saying, like, I mean, she has what, 4 kids. She's co-founder of a bunch of companies and also chairwoman of a bunch of organizations, nonprofits. And they're like, what is balance for you? And she was like, for me, it doesn't exist because if you're trying to be number one, you don't have balance. You are literally obsessed with everything, but then it creates an ecosystem around you where everything communicates towards that bigger vision. And I think that, like I always tell people, call me, I will answer. If I don't answer, I will call you back. Because that's how I grew into the person that I am today, because of people that answer the phone call, people that you close business deals with. And like my own friends, last week I called one of my friends for an hour, and like you don't know if it's a business call. That call, we closed a influencer that wants us to represent them that has 6 million followers and a podcast with 675K followers. And it's like, I didn't know I was on a business call. And sometimes we don't realize people are calling us, looking for us, yearning for us because something is telling them that they need us. And when you build your life in a way where your work is something that you have literally poured your heart into and it is a piece of you, you are living in alignment with yourself. And that is just literally like people that need to be attracted to. And I think when you see it that way, it changes your perspective and you start answering more. But personally, I'm terrible at text.
I'm horrible.
And I tell people, like, do not text me, call me. And they're like, oh, isn't that too much? Or like, you're so busy. And I'm like, I will pick up the phone, but I will miss a DM. I will miss a text. I will not see that. And lately I've been like trying to be more on top of it, but it's like, you never know what is business.
Yeah.
So it's not always just money calling. It's like, you can turn something into business.
I found that my biggest, I guess, deals that I've had and like opportunities that I've had just came like randomly out of relationships that I was not intentionally trying to turn into business. Like these were just relationships that I just admired what they did. I wanted to show up for them and I just like being around and they liked me being around. And then eventually when they needed something that was relative to what I could do, then I was like the first person to get called on, which is like, it's interesting how it works like that. Like right now, my biggest focus is building my network, and not so much because of like finding business out of it, but because that's what forms your community. And when you have a community, it's just, I don't think people realize how nice it is to have people that will just support you, just to support you just because they enjoy what you're doing. 'Cause that's how I am. Like all you guys know, I'll just show up to things just like, well, they're doing this, so I want to support.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have that reciprocated. But that also brings me to another thing. People want to know as well, like, I spun off into social media, but like, how do you balance like interpersonal relationships? Like, your friends, your family, like, you guys know I'm close with my mom. My mom's the first person to be like, well, do you have time for me? You have time for everyone. Like, where the interpersonal relationships come in with the empires that you're building.
You know something interesting I noticed? My algorithm doesn't always show me what my people are posting.
No, it
So
doesn't.
my people sometimes feel neglected. I don't want to neglect them. So I'm feeling like I need to consciously go check out Abby's page and see. I need to consciously go to your page so that I can show support. So I've been noticing like with the more I grow on social media, like I need to make more of an effort to show my people love. But in regards to like how do I balance things, I'm having a hard time.
And that's
Like,
valid.
honestly, this year specifically,
Yeah,
I have
it's
not
real.
been the easiest to like reach. Like if we align, like all the stars align for that. So I'm really working on that. And one thing I could say, like Wednesdays, I like Wednesdays. They're ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication. And I've been doing this thing where like I'll schedule calls on Wednesday. So I'll at least try to get a different family member in rotation. So that I can get to them, especially because I live far from all my family members live out of state. So like, if I don't do that, so scheduling, and even my friends, gotta schedule.
I have a-
Yeah.
languages.
I don't know if this is gonna sound ingenuine, but I have a way that I do this.
Say it, girl.
Well, it's not ingenuine. It's literally like because I know
Yeah.
I won't notice things. I turn on all post notifications and story notifications for all my employees, my cousins, my clients, and my friends. I turn on post notifications because otherwise I might not see them and I might not know what's going on in their lives. And so I turn that on, and then also I put like check on this person in my calendar like regularly. So like I've had it on for like my sister, for example, for like maybe 4 or 5 years. And she saw it when we went to Dubai. She was like, "Did your phone just say check on your sister?" And I was like, "Yes." She was like, "Thank you." But it's like I literally put these because otherwise time does pass by and like you don't realize how quickly it does.
Something that I practice is the moment that person crosses my brain, I call, I text, because so often I know this is like in the past, I would think of somebody and I'm like, weeks, days go by, next thing you know, something bad happens and I'm like, oh my God, I thought about them and I never connected in that moment. So it happened to me way too many times that made me feel really uncomfortable and like horrible that I'm just like, all right, my new practice is the moment that person crosses my brain, even if it's someone I haven't spoken to in 5 or 7 years, I'm going to reach out and say, hey, just thought about you. And at first I would think it was like the weirdest thing. And I'm like, I'm a 20-year-old. Who the hell am I thinking about and sending these messages?
Yeah.
Like it just felt kind of like something that we don't typically do. And I know a lot of like elders that I know, they'll complain like, oh, your generation, you think just because, someone posted that they're alive and healthy and everything's going well, I feel like that's our keeping up. Social media. I saw you post, you looked fine, you were smiling, you were happy. Meanwhile, that person is like struggling, behind the scenes with things that we could show up more for as friends or family, and we would never know if you don't take that moment to kind of like pause and check on them. So that's what I'm doing, as far as like the friends and family.
Yeah.
But on a more like, I want to say like making new friends or dating aspect, it's all about alignment. The moment I meet somebody, I would say alignment and having discernment of like, does this energy, work with what I have going on? And is there time? Being realistic, not feeding into things that don't line up,
course.
with your life and everything that you have going on. So that's what I'm doing right now.
I like that. I always think it's so bizarre, I guess, how you can just think of someone and they're just on your mind. And then for me, it's usually within like a couple of days, I get like a call or a message
Yeah.
from them. And I'm like, are we tapped in? I swear, like it's happened like several times in the past week at least. Like someone that I've thought about or has been on my mind has reached out to me, and I'm just like,
Feel them in your orbit.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. There's this saying that it goes, if you're thinking about someone, it's because they're thinking about you.
Right.
Yeah. That's scary.
It is, right?
I've thought about someone that was like used to be really, really close to me on 3 different occasions. And I'm like, why am I thinking about this person? So I finally acted on it. It didn't go as planned, but like I'm still thinking about them. So
They're
now I'm like,
thinking
well,
about
are they
you.
thinking about me too? Because
They're thinking about you,
what
babe.
is happening? That's very interesting.
They're thinking about you.
I can't reach out again though.
As that, it's okay.
It's just gonna have to come my way.
It's okay. I understand. I do.
Wow.
I really do.
It's interesting because there are people that want to spend time, and I want to too, but
Yeah.
then something just doesn't allow it to happen, or something within me is like, no. Then I don't have an explanation for it. So I've been learning to navigate like how to like just say no.
See, I'm an air
Yeah.
sign. I'm super flaky. Like,
You're flaky.
yeah. Just, I don't know, I just flow with the wind. So maybe last week I was down for it, and now today I'm like, that doesn't that's not what I want to do today.
I meant it last week.
Maybe
That's me.
You know that like last week I was totally down, but today I'm not really feeling that vibe. So I mean, when I do feel that way though, I'm just like, oh, I still gotta go, because I don't want to flake, you know. But
Yeah.
mentally, my brain is like totally gone from that. I'm like, I don't want to do this.
Oh gosh. What's your sign?
Aquarius.
She's a double air.
Yeah, I'm struggling already.
Oh.
Venus and Gemini.
Aquarius and Gemini.
So we have Aquarius, we have a Leo. I'm a Capricorn. Scorpio.
Scorpio.
Like Cancer.
A full mix.
Yeah. A whole mix. I don't know
We
what
have all 4 elements, no? Yeah. Yeah, we do. Earth, water,
Earth,
fire,
fire, air.
Okay.
Oh my god, we got the whole zodiac here. Yeah. It's earth, wind, and fire. And water.
all elements. Yeah.
Do you guys believe in that? I know I do.
I do.
Astrology. She said, I mean, I guess.
I don't know. I don't. But I've just never been into it. I don't know anything about. Someone asked me, I'm a Cancer. That's all I have to say.
Don't you have a tattoo on you?
I do. And
Did you just rep in
don't come for me. I only have a tattoo.
She exposed you.
I only have that sign because literally it just means my mom. Me and my mom have the same birthday. Both Cancers. That's all, guys. That's all. Like, I can't explain no more. Yes, I do. And that's recently.
Yeah.
But I
no, it
never
is.
had
But I was
them.
just like, girl. I know you know all about that. You're super.
I don't know too much about it. I think that's what it is. I just don't know.
Yeah.
There's so much.
I know. I mean, every time I think she says
I'll be
something,
talking
I'm like,
about
wait,
it.
I don't even know what you're saying. But yes.
You guys
Yes.
know my signs better than I do.
Yeah. 3 a.m. I'm up researching
I'm
See?
great.
everything.
And
I
love
need to
that.
know. I know.
I
I
need
just
to
need to
know.
know.
You can also just ask like ChatGPT. You just be like,
ChatGPT.
what? Tell me about this. Tell
Tell
me
me about
about
myself.
I don't know.
GPT
The more I work
is-
with ChatGPT, like it's not. It
But
gives you
astrology-
great insight, but it's not always accurate. So like even as an astrologer, like I'm noticing all these errors and I'm correcting it. So like if you don't know much about astrology, and you're turning to chat, like you could be misled.
Okay,
So
so
it's like
maybe
tread
not,
lightly with that. That's something I'm learning. Because I
Also,
try to
just
use
text
it
you.
in.
It's a robot.
Yeah, I try to use it in my work, and then I'm like, yo, if I did not like review this information, I will be giving false information now.
yeah.
So it's deep. I think that applies to like any topic with chat, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it says it too. Like chat says, like you should vet. Like you need to vet what I say. Like you can't just take everything I say for like.
Yeah, but fun fact, Cancer is the mother of astrology. They rule the home, and Capricorns are the dads of astrology. They rule like work and public
I
reputation.
told you were married.
So the fact that y'all in business together, mom is insane.
Mom and dad.
I told you were married.
No, I love that. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. That is a fun fact.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
use that.
Mom and dad.
Every time everyone says, stop it. I just thought we looked like a gender reveal, but
did
that's
too.
fine too. I love that. I'm gonna use. Okay, cool. Thank you for that fun.
I never
fact.
even thought
I didn't think
about that.
I always think about
Wow.
I never even
that's
thought about that.
Yeah.
I always just like tell people I'm like we're married because it's like I feel like when you're in business together, like you have to be like no, like we're in a union because you're not about like we're not about to get into an argument. We're not about to like we have to be like mom and dad essentially like when the kids are trying to turn you on each other. That's how I look at it. So I be telling people I'm like we're married.
We are.
We go together.
That's so deep.
I love that. Super cool.
That's fun. But I feel like we went off topic. I wanted to stay on the topic of like interpersonal relationships. Another thing that's also like I didn't really want to get too much into it because I'm like kind of tired about talking about stuff like this. But I got a couple of questions asking like, okay, like how are you guys like how's everyone navigating like having like a relationship or getting into relationships and then being busy? Like how do you give time to like a partner or someone that you might want to consider being a partner while also pouring time into yourself? Because when you're running something, your biggest priority does need to be yourself. Like, how do you pick yourself while also allowing yourself to pick another person?
That's a really good question.
I'm still working on that as well. My man, I mean, when his job was travel, so like it worked out, and I think that's why I stayed more busy because he was gone, and so like that's fine. Like I would see him
Yeah.
just the weekends, which got kind of hard, and I mean there was a few problems. I'm not gonna lie because we miss each other. He recently got a new job, so now he has like the 9 to 5, but he, so now it's been a lot better. So now, for me, because he's home more, I tend to not schedule anything. I try not to schedule anything past like 7 because that's the time he's home. Spend the whole night with him. We'll go on little dates, not too much because then he has to wake up the next morning. So we're still working on that, but so far it's working. But before that, girl, we were struggling a little bit. I like calls and everything because I would be in like 20 other places. He would be somewhere else doing business, So that's, again, I'm learning on it. So I don't know.
I love that you guys are good.
Yeah, like now it's getting better. So I'm like, okay, little dates, nothing too crazy, because obviously he has to work the next day really early. But it's been working. But it has been hard to balance that as well, to give him time too. And the weekends, I barely like to do anything because the weekends were with his old job for him.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so it sounds like it's mainly just like, I guess like getting rid of the idea that you have to like be together 24/7 and just focusing on like the time that you do have and
that we
doing
have, and
tiny
that's pretty
things
much
here
it.
and there. Yeah, prioritizing.
Something I learned, I'm very easygoing. I'm very like out of sight, out of mind type of person. So like if you're here in front of me, I could lose myself with you. You could be my friend, anything. So like I mentioned earlier, like boundaries. So like I've been in relationships where the person needs to constantly be in touch, and I noticed how that threw me off my game. But my person, like sometimes we go 3 days without talking, and like it's okay. So like really recognizing that when you're connected to somebody, you don't have to talk to them all the time. But I've noticed like definitely like after work, like the evenings and weekends work the best. Cause like when I wake up, like I like to prioritize myself. Like if we spend the night together, cool, we wake up together, but there's still a level of silence, like you over there, I'm over here. But yeah, like definitely like prioritizing the time and like allowing days to go by if that's what's necessary and that's what's flowing without feeling like I'm losing them. That's definitely like a big space.
I think space is
within
important.
space.
Yeah. Because that's also like, I feel like it's not healthy, 100% healthy to be with someone where you can't be in silence together. Because I feel like that means someone's uneasy because you're trying to fill the space.
I used to be that person like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't speak, I thought I did something wrong.
I used to be
I
like
had
that
to deal
too.
that. Now, if like the level of silence we could experience together is like an indicator for me, like how safe I actually feel with you. So, and that applies to a friend. It's not just about like romance.
I'm like two complete like polar opposites at the same time. Because it's like I will do the stupidest things for like someone that I like. Like I will do the stupidest things for a boy. But then at the same time, if I don't really like you, you can't reach me. Like at all. Like I'm so selective. But right now I guess I'm in a situation where I used to think that I needed consistent communication all the time. And now it's not that I'm getting consistent, but not fully throughout the day. But the communication that I am having is like meaningful. So I don't feel like I am lacking. And in the situation that I'm in now, like in theory, I don't want to get too deep into it, but like in theory, because of like how everything is, like I thought that I would be kind of like freaking out a bit more. But I'm not.
Good.
She's giggling because she knows the most about it. But, and Abby's like, what is this? But, I think for me, I'm saying all this to say that, like, with how busy I am, I think I've realized that, like, kind of like you, Cass, like, I don't need a ton of communication. I don't need a ton of time with you, but I need something to matter, and it has to be meaningful. And it has to be, like, impactful.
It just makes things more special too. Like when
Yeah.
you're not with them, you definitely have your space. So I'm like, and when we have like the little 2 to 3 hours, I'm like, honestly, I like you more actually.
Yeah. Like, I actually don't hate you.
Yeah, what the heck? Yeah, you definitely need your space.
Go for it.
I think most importantly, I'm not really dating right now, anyone officially anyway. But I think
Girl, me
being
neither. I'm just in La La
intentional-
Land.
being intentional when you do show up in that space with that person, you know, you have my attention and, you know, kind of like undivided attention. But I think I realized I like low maintenance kind of relations in this phase of my life. And it doesn't mean that we don't go on dates or, you know, low maintenance, you kind of can dissect it a few different ways. But for me, I want to run to the grocery store together. Or like, let's take a walk.
Yeah.
You know, let's actually do something, you know, it could be very simple and small ways to like show up without the constant need for communication on the phone, you know, texting or phone calls and stuff like that. Like I know I can't be on the phone for 4 hours in the day.
Just
If you have that amount of time, you know, I'm looking at you sideways.
If
Or
you-
if you have that amount of time and you're wondering what I'm doing every second of the day, I'm like, you're not busy enough.
If you have that amount of time as a man to
Yeah.
talk on the phone,
I didn't want to say it.
No, that's my thing. I don't want. Those are like red flags for me, you know.
Yeah.
So I pay attention to those things. And
No,
I'm like,
100%.
if you have too much time to be worried about what I'm doing, then this is not going to work out. I need you to be busy. I'm going to be busy, and then we have to find our middle ground. You know, where things kind of
You
work.
come together when you come
But
together.
I'm curious, do you guys prefer to date someone who's also an entrepreneur or like a 9-to-5? And I say that because I had a conversation one time with a guy, and I told him, I said, honestly, I'd rather date an entrepreneur who's gonna understand what networking is, what working late and inconsistent hours are, because if you're looking for me to have the same schedule every day or every week, or hey, you said you got out at 5, then why were you still there till 7? Because another person walked through the door, or because I spent extra time with this client and I did, you know, so also like just being a secure person within yourself matters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm curious because I'm like, I can't date somebody that, you know, is side-eyeing me for talking to another guy. When it's anyone that I talk to, I just want to know, what do you do? And how can we help each other? It's all about network for me before I look at anything else, you know?
so I feel like me personally, I'm at a phase where like I can only be with, I don't want to say just an entrepreneur, but because I could be with a 9-to-5 guy that is trying to like, that's hungry. Because there's a 9-to-5 that just goes in and every day, and he just wants to stay like entry level, and that's what he's doing. And then there's a 9-to-5 guy that has a side hustle that's trying to grow in his company, that's trying to achieve certain things. So it's like I could be with that, like a hungry 9-to-5 or an entrepreneur, but I can't just be with someone that has like
He just
no
won't
drive
understand,
and
yeah.
he's just home at like 5 p.m., 6 p.m.
Very
And there's nothing
complacent.
wrong with that. There's someone for everyone. But with the amount of work that I do and the schedule that I have, that's going to eventually bother you. So I need someone that's on that same level as me.
So are you nervous, or any of you nervous that, and I've seen like other videos about this, they're like, oh, if you're this hardworking, independent boss babe, there's no guy out there for you, or that like wants to, you know, be with someone like that because you kind of diminish their like importance or their role as a guy for you. I don't know.
I feel like, no. I feel like if a guy feels that way about me, then he's insecure. And then, because if we're going to use the term of like alpha, or a real masculine man is not going to want a feminine woman that doesn't have drive or that is like weak. Like you don't ever see like a lion with like a weak lioness. Like in the jungle, like the king of the jungle's spouse is just as strong as they are. So it's just, you just haven't met that person yet. That's the way I look at it.
But when you meet that person, be ready. Because I was like, I want an entrepreneur. I want a guy that is hardworking, it does more than me. We can build legacy, family together. And that, as a woman that is already trying to build a 7-figure business, has 14 employees, 3 different countries, like has all this stuff going on, and then they have, like, I'm here building a village and they built a whole country already. And it's like, oh, I have to prioritize your country because you can't sacrifice this country for my village, no matter how much you want to build my village. And also, my village almost needs to fit inside your country for this to work out. And I think a lot of the times, like, when that guy comes along, we're also like, wait, I have to make these adjustments. And that's been almost like a showcasing of masculinity to me that I don't see a lot and haven't seen. And it forced me into my feminine nature. And so when you say like low maintenance, I would say that's like a very effortless relationship where you're literally like, let's go to the grocery store and you have the best time ever. Or like, let's go on a walk and you have the best time ever. And like, that's how it feels. But I think it's truly because like, I just am soft and just a woman with him. But then like, if anything goes wrong, unfortunately, my like way to respond is almost more masculine.
Me too.
Because I'm like, I need to put, like, literally, this is how I know how to fix things. And like, I need to put a system and process in place that makes this not fail ever again. And that's like something I'm trying to change about myself, because I know that it works in certain spaces like business or the spaces that I'm growing. But in my relationship, it's just like, no, just continue being you and just listening. Like, he's guiding you, you're fine. So it's actually like a challenge, but it's the best feeling ever. And yeah, but it was also hard to find because, and it's not because of guys. I don't like to say like guys are insecure, intimidated. I think as women, we almost push them.
Yeah.
Because we want a guy that can't be manipulated by other people. If he can be manipulated by me, look, somebody else is gonna get you, and we're not safe. And we might not even realize we're doing it consciously, but like all these little things are almost like pushing them. And I push people to be like super like, oh my gosh, what's going on? But I finally found a guy I can't push. And it was almost frustrating at first, and then I'm like, wait, I'm not supposed to be able to knock him down.
Yeah.
So it's like a tricky topic, and I think people realize like, what do I want? What do I want to sacrifice? How do I want to show up in this person's life versus how they show up? But I just decided like, I just want to be a girl. Like literally, I just need a space where I can just be a girl. And even sometimes like it's hard, but it's also like my biology is craving it.
Yeah, I'm like, that's what I fear with getting into relationships, because I will just, y'all look at me like, no, Josie, there's no way, but let me find the right one. Everything's gonna stop, and I'm just gonna be a girl. Like, that's why I'm so picky. I'm so picky because I know how far I'll go. Like, I'm such a lover, like I will just pour myself, and because I am like that, I have to have a high standard. And I have to be with someone who has value in what I believe in, what I do, because they won't let me just drop everything and be a girl.
That was the other thing. I thought I needed to just be a girl, like drop everything. I'm not gonna be. I literally was like, oh, this isn't gonna work. I'm too much of a boss babe for him. He was like, no, you need something to do while you have the family that you're building, the motherhood. Like you need something to also pour into a passion of yours. And I think the right guy will also lead you in growing your own passions and be that rock for you as you are going through all these ups and downs of a world that is truly more masculine, just like by data alone.
Yeah. I want to be like, I want to be the lover girl, but I also want to have a source of connection of like, you have business, I have business, we can talk business.
Yeah.
Too. And I don't know if that's like, can end up a little bit unhealthy, but I don't know. I just have this like dream life that we eventually will have a business together and stuff. And just, you know, we can bounce ideas and things like that. So, I don't know.
I think that's 100% possible. I mean, I have for me, my dream, I guess, in that sense is like, I love men that I can learn from and that can almost like mentor me in a sense. So it's like not so much us going into business together, but me running something and him running his own things independently and me being able to go to him with questions that I have. So it's like, I think just in you saying that, like I can't even really see you being with someone who's not entrepreneurial.
I can't see it either. I try to like vision it sometimes and I'm like, it's not, I don't know. It just doesn't give me a spark, you know? Not that the person is not a decent person, but I like to feel the spark. I need to feel the spark, and I know when I feel it, and I'm like, I like you, and I've already planned out the whole.
That's my problem. That's a qualification.
That's the qualification to date you, like a man who can talk business with you.
Yeah. It's exciting for me. I just like I love conversation, but it needs to be interesting, you know. You got to know a little bit of my world, and like you said, somebody that knows more than you can learn from them. I definitely want someone that can teach me something that I don't already know.
Have you made your list?
What list? My non-negotiables?
That one and the qualifications to date you.
She made me
I
have my list.
I have a list. I do have a list. But it's a what I want in a relationship list. I didn't do the qualifications yet, but maybe I should do that.
Yeah, we need a filter.
Yeah.
Yeah, filter.
But I know who I like though.
I put on my list at least 6'5".
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, my person's 6'6". So
See, I'm short.
And it
so
worked.
for me, anybody over like 5'5", I'm like, oh, you're tall. As long as you're taller than me.
I told this guy, granted he's like tall. I told him, I was like, I put on my list 5'10". He was like, damn baby, that's short. I said, oh wow.
yeah.
What do you want me to do? I live in Miami.
That's what it's nice though. Tree. Yeah. You know, I think about silly things. Like now I have to get on my tippy toe.
It's cute though, it's cute.
It's cute though, but
You can have whatever you want.
I believe so.
Yeah. Love that. Like for me, creativity is a must. Like we could be a 9 to 5 if that's you, but if you're creative and you have an innovative mind, we can talk about something.
Yeah, I have a little bit of both, so. I'm like, I think him seeing me, well, his old job was like more of an entrepreneur, but then now he started this new job, went back to the 9 to 5, but also like he's, like Josie said, he's hungry, so like that I like, obviously.
Yeah.
And then I think with him seeing me as busy as I am and what I go, it motivates him too. He's like, oh, I want that for myself too. So that's really cool too, so.
I love when I see a guy that like the woman that they're with is busy and it doesn't make them like, oh, like I'm just gonna sit here because I don't know what to do. And I love when a guy is like, oh, you're hungry, I want to be hungry just like you. Like she's like, you're motivating him, you guys are motivating each other.
Right.
And I think that's so important, especially when like we're all so young.
Yeah, as an entrepreneur, we cannot date puppies.
No, never.
She don't want no puppies.
I
No
like someone
puppy
who's like,
shame.
how can I add to this?
Big dogs.
Shout out to Jake.
What were we talking about? I think the other day we were talking about dogs.
dogs.
Yeah.
We were like, if you were to describe like your ideal like partner as a dog, like what breed dog would
I've
you?
been seeing that on TikTok.
Yeah.
That's a golden
What?
retriever. thing.
Golden Retriever boyfriend. I say a
Damn.
Rottweiler.
Mine is
Yeah,
a
I
Great
wanna know.
Dane.
First
I
of all,
love
I
my
didn't know that
golden
much
dog.
about dogs, so then I
I
actually
love
had
my
to start
Bambi.
I didn't know that much
researching.
about dogs before this conversation.
No, honestly. I don't
And
know.
there's a black cat.
She's,
Oh,
Oh
that I
yeah,
know. That I know.
black cat, golden retriever. Yeah,
I knew like
It's
what's
pretty
it,
much
like a strong
like a mastiff.
What's a
There's
strong
like so many things that like TikTok
a
will put
pit
into
bull?
your brain.
A pit bull?
No.
No.
what's it called?
Those are
a
scary.
Doberman?
Oh,
A Doberman.
Yeah.
I really thought about that actually. I'll think about it later. I'll tell
Yeah,
you.
no. I said a Rottweiler because they're
So-
scary, but they're actually like really sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one that's like mean to the world but nice to me. Or
Not
something.
even necessary. I do not want a man to be mean to the world.
I saw a
Yeah.
video the other day. The guy said something like, "Oh, when you're nice to her but mean to everyone else." So he like opens the door for his
No.
girlfriend, and another girl's trying to walk behind. He's like rushing to get out the door, and everybody's like,
No,
"Why would you
that's
want a man
terrible.
that's like that?"
If you don't treat people with respect, like be so for real. I feel like if that's what you want, then you don't have full security in yourself. Because at the end of the day, like I'm not worried about that man going after anyone else but me.
Exactly.
I want my
I'm not sweet
person
then.
to set the standard for you.
Yeah, I love that. Gosh, I feel like we could go on about this forever, but we do have to cut it because I know it's a really good conversation, but I really, really, really want to thank you guys for coming and joining me for the reunion
Thank you for having us.
of Get Cozy with Josie. And before we leave, or before I let you guys sign off, I have like another surprise.
What is
So
it?
as so as you know, my podcast is produced by KarVisual Studios. So I wanted to give a gift, a plaque for the world's best producer.
Oh my
You wait, put it in here.
He said, "Oh, that's so cute." No, no, no.
Who cares? The world's best producer to Joseph Carvin.
That is so cute. Actually. He's amazing. Amazing, amazing.
Thank you.
Oh, stop it. Wasn't he just talking about Father's Day gift?
Think about Father's Day.
That is so funny. Oh, no, he deserves that. That's amazing. That's
Look at
super
me all
cute.
smiley and
He's
happy
gonna cry when he
now.
gets home. Super
No, I am
cute.
super grateful for just one, for you guys joining me, for KarVisual for producing this with me and for me, because none of this would be possible without you, Carvins, and your amazing studio space that you turn into whatever I want, and you let me you let me run amok. I told him that I was like, yeah, we're doing a reunion in 2 days, and he was like, what? How many people? Josie, you have to like tell me these things. And I said, no, you're gonna make it happen. And he did, and he always makes everything happen. So if anyone that's watching this ever needs any production or studio space, make sure you hit up KarVisual Studios. And besides that, to my amazing, beautiful guests, I love you guys so much. I'm so grateful for you being here.
Love you too. Love you too.
Of course. I want to give you guys time to individually, I mean, you guys have done it before in your episodes, but plug yourselves, do a send out, and plug your businesses. So I guess we can start from left to right with Bree.
I'm on the left. Okay. You guys can keep up with me at Sculpted Aesthetic. I do facials, full body waxing, chemical peels, and all advanced skincare services. So it's nice being here with you guys.
And you can follow me at Abby Pierre-Louis on most of my platforms, I think, yeah. Sometimes I post adamantly and sometimes I just go away, so just DM me. If you need any marketing help or just guidance, tips, like I'm not even trying to sell my business. It's called Boost Your Brand. It's been around for 4+ years, and we have a lot of different services that we do. But if you just need like advice or someone to talk to, because you listen to Josie's podcast, just hit me up and I'll give you like consultation, whatever, like, we can just brainstorm if you need.
That's so sweet. Well, you can find me on Instagram and YouTube as Odyssey Transformations. If you need any support with your spiritual journey and like aligning spiritually, hit me up. I do astrocartography, which is a very special branch of astrology based on location. And I also do sound healing. I have guided meditations on YouTube. And like Abby said, like, you know, any questions, I'm happy to talk. Like, we don't bite.
Maybe, but I'm kidding. I'm a hairstylist. You can find me on I recently changed my name, I'm sorry. K Beauty Lounge. I also own an agency with Josie, Lovey Agency. If you need models, let us know. And obviously models, if you're watching, follow us. We have a few gigs coming up. New York models, we just recently booked for New York. I'm so excited.
Hopefully LA soon.
Yes, the goal. And more than that.
Yes. Oh, and your personal.
Oh, K Marie Crespo.
Because book her
Don't
too.
forget that. Book me.
And you guys already know who I am. I am Josie Lentner. You can find me at Josie Lentner and the podcast at Get Cozy with Josie's Pod. And I want to thank you guys again for getting cozy with all of us. And that's a wrap for the season 1 reunion. Can't wait to see you guys for season 2 because we're getting cozy with the boys.
No.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye. Dude.